All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy Tuesday. This is the voice and the face of Dr. Tolu Olabinto, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Living Spring Family Medical Center here in the beautiful city of Mansfield, Texas, where we help our patients live long and well because we believe that the quality of life is just as important as the quantity of life. We're having conversations today in line with our motto, and today's topic is dieting done right, weight loss diets for lasting results. Please, 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 big favor if you're watching live, hashtag live. If you're watching replay, hashtag replay. And I just wanted to say a little bit about why we chose this topic. As we know, sometimes weight issues can, wax and wane, can go back and forth. And so we're going to talk with a physician friend of mine today, Dr. Malathi. Yes, Dr. Malathi. And she'll be coming up. She's backstage already. And we'll be having conversations in line with this. If you know someone who should be here right now, go ahead and tag them in the comments. Send this video to them so they can watch live because questions are welcome. Now, that being said, if you're watching live, hashtag live, watching replay, hashtag replay, I'm going to bring our guest on. There we go. Hi, Doc. How are you?
I'm doing well, Dr. Tolu. I'm excited to be here with you today and
Thank you.
with the audience.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for coming. I know you're busy and I appreciate you coming on to talk to us today, Dr. Malathi. All right. Now that being said, my first question to you is this: please, for the sake of our viewers, could you introduce yourself? Who are you and what do you do?
I'm Dr. Malathi Acharya. I'm an integrative doctor. I'm an integrative physician. Or in other words, I'm a holistic doctor. So what I do is I integrate treatments from the traditional allopathic system as well as the best proven non-harmful treatments from other systems of medicine, and that can include the traditional Chinese system, that can include Ayurveda, naturopathy, osteopathy, manual medicine. There are so many other systems. So I integrate the best treatments from all of these systems um, in order for my clients to get the most benefit of. Um, I am a diplomate of the American Board of Integrative Medicine, and I'm also a board certified in internal medicine as well as hospice and palliative medicine.
Man, I love what you do. You take the best of all worlds, essentially, and
Yes.
you wow, I love it. I love it. So I'm curious, why do you do what you do? How did you get to the integrative medicine piece?
Absolutely. Um, this is a story that amazes me even as I recall it. I mean, if I think of my journey back, it amazes me, and I love sharing this. I am an internal medicine trained doctor, so I started off working in the hospital as a hospitalist, taking care of really sick patients. Patients very sick, we would stabilize them, send them out. And then after a few years, I transitioned to becoming a primary care doctor. And the time that the panel of patients that empaneled with me when I became a primary care doctor, they they kept, for some reason, the patients kept coming to me and asking me for whatever treatment I would suggest. They would ask me, doctor, is there anything I can do naturally to get better?
Mm,
Is there
mm,
anything I can
mm,
change in my diet that will help me get better? Like, for example, someone had low back pain or they strained their back, and I would give them ibuprofen. They would, no, no, doctor, is there anything I can change in my
mm,
diet, or is there anything I can do naturally? And I was a doctor who had worked in the hospital, right? So my first impulse is, hmm, I'm not sure what you can do naturally to get all these things. But and then I kept hearing this question again and again. And I said, you know what? If so many people are asking this question, there
mm,
must be something that the out there that I don't know yet. So that made me go out and look for it. And I came upon this program, this training program for doctors. We call it fellowship. I came upon this fellowship program in integrative medicine at the Andrew Weil Center for Integrative Medicine. I joined this fellowship. I did it during the COVID times, August 20 to 22. It was an online fellowship. I learned so much there, and I was like, "This is the answer to that question. That is the answer to that." whatever my patients had asked me, yes, there, not I had answers to all that. It was such a wonderful program. And the key, this was the turning point. So I did it at the time of the COVID pandemic, when there was a lot, when the doctors were a lot of stress, the healthcare professionals were under a lot of
Mm,
stress, people were under a lot of stress. And as I learned these things, I would practice one thing from the first chapter. I would put into my own life practice. Like, for example, I remember reading in one of the first chapters about spirituality and how spirituality plays a big impact on health and wellness.
yes.
And one of the practice was, why don't you start saying a prayer every day? And I started with a prayer, in my language, what resonated with me, what I had grown up with. Little things like that, as I put into practice, I found that I was able to manage my stress. I was able to be well mentally and physically, so that I can be there. I can show up for my patients, be there for them,
Mm,
and help
mm.
them through a time that was stressful for them also. So, what and I really like the philosophy of integrative medicine, where we bring the good things from all types of ancient medical wisdom. And there's always this link, this collaboration, or this bond between the patient and the physician, that's the central key thing in healing. And I decided that this was how I was going to practice medicine. So I left the job that I was working at, and I've started my own integrated medicine practice here in the Bay Area in Northern California. It's called Ayur Integrative Medicine.
Awesome. I love to hear the story, and I'm curious and excited to see what we can learn even from that approach in dealing with our topic today. So, very good. And you've piqued my interest. So, very good. Very good. All right. Now, my next question to you today is, because we're talking about weight loss. Now, what are some key principles of a weight loss diet that can lead to lasting results? I'm going to preface it with this question or comment in that a lot of people say, yes, the weight loss diets, I do it, but after a few weeks, it's like they're back to square one or a few months because it's hard to sustain. But what are tips
Right,
you would say that help people have lasting results when it comes to a weight loss diet?
right. So here is the key thing, okay? For lasting results, and for us to be happy and keep with the program for lasting results, it is important to choose a diet that resonates with us as a person, cultural,
Mm,
culinary preference, and something that we can sustain on a long term, not only taste wise, but more as a practical option. So
okay.
from that perspective, diets that the liquid diets, or some diets that completely cut out one macronutrient, as we call it, right? So there are these macronutrients, the carbohydrates, the proteins, the fats. There are some diets that drastically cut down a particular macronutrient. Um, while those diets may work short term, they don't work long term. So a diet that is agree with us culturally, culinary taste preference, and what that's practical for us, is the one that's likely to give us success in the long term. Two, it's the choice of food that matters. What type of food are we picking? What type of carbohydrates are we picking? What type of fat are we picking? Where are the proteins coming from? That's very important. That's key in helping with weight loss and sustaining a weight loss. Okay. So those are the two. And if there's something that at the end of this discussion, if there are a few key things, if there are a few things I want you all to keep in mind, it's this, avoiding refined carbohydrates, white grains that have been, that from which the healthy part, the outside covering, has
Mm.
been removed. Refined carbohydrates, avoiding refined sugars, salty foods, as well as processed and refined foods of any kind. If you remember these few things and you stay away from them, I will guarantee you that you'll have lasting benefit on your health.
You've heard it. Awesome. These are good. These are powerful hacks. Now, my next question to you. Now, you did mention picking a diet that is more that resonates more with you and is something you can sustain long term. But if someone's sitting here saying, "Okay, I think I can do whichever one you suggest. I'm willing to try it because they're open to your expertise." Are there specific diets that you know are effective in promoting sustainable weight loss?
Yes, yes. So the diet that has been proven to to help lose weight and to sustain it in the long term, which means after 6 to 12 months, Mediterranean diet is one such diet that studies have shown us. Okay, so if there's one diet that I would pick, that is the diet, because I know that not only does it cause weight loss now, but you keep that lost weight. I mean, you keep off the lost weight at 6 months, 12 months, and more. And what's more to it is that it not only that, it helps you favorably in terms of your diabetes risk,
Yes.
heart attack, and stroke risk. So you're getting three more value adds here. Now, the good thing about Mediterranean diet is that it's not a specific diet. So it's not something that I'm going to say, okay, this is what you should eat for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner, because
Mm.
that may not be what your culinary preference is. But Mediterranean diet is a pattern of diet. So it says that you have to have at least this, 7 to 9 servings of grains in a day. Okay. A variety, every meal should have 2 to 4 servings of vegetables and fruits of, in all the color range, because each color means that it has a specific nutrient. So the more color, we are getting all those micronutrients. And believe me, these nutrients, some of them, especially the ones in cabbage and cauliflower, they even prevent cancer. So they are really valuable. So, you know, so a variety of vegetables and fruits with every meal. Okay. And the grains are all more whole grains, not the white, but the whole grains. So, for example, me, I'm from India, so I grew up eating Indian food, and that's my first preference. So, if I keep Mediterranean food in the back of my mind, how would I make my own Mediterranean diet that I love to eat? So, I will choose whole brown rice, because rice is my main grain. Rice is the grain I like, or I would choose millet that will go well with my dishes. So I would appropriately choose based on your liking, and you choose the whole grain. So it gives then it a Mediterranean diet, olive oil, okay, which is very, very healthy. It's a fat, but we don't have to be afraid of fat, because this is a
Okay.
healthy fat. So
Healthy fat.
a Mediterranean diet includes a lot of nuts, and nuts have protein as well as healthy fat. Okay. There is also Mediterranean diet also uses a lot of proteins from mainly plant-based proteins, legumes. Okay. Legumes and whole beans, which not only have proteins, but again in their coverings they have these micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals that our body so badly needs. The Mediterranean diet restricts the red meat portion to 2 a week. There is a lot of allowance for fish, because fish has omega-3 fatty acids, which are again healthy. So we don't have to run away and be afraid of all fats. We just have to make sure that we are choosing the right fats to eat. There is also some dairy. There's also some poultry that they use. Um, and Mediterranean diet also engenders a lot of community. So sitting down and eating with people and enjoying the meal as a communal event. So all of these things, are part of the Mediterranean diet, but it's not one fixed
Mhm.
recipe or a meal, or a few dishes that I'm giving you that you need to vary. So this is a pattern. So now you can choose based on who you grew up liking. You can, like, for example, I actually grew up eating a lot of white rice, because at that time we did not know the
Right.
benefits of whole
Right.
grains. Now I have substituted the white rice with brown rice, and I take a lot of millet. So in all my recipes, I kind of substitute the healthy one for the unhealthy one, but still the recipe remains what I want to eat.
I love it. You've dropped a lot of gems here. A lot of powerful yet simple things to do. I love how you can Mediterraneanize your diet to your culture. So as a Nigerian American, I can find Nigerian flair to it. So I love it. Powerful, powerful. And when you were talking, I was thinking, I was like, this is a good question to ask ChatGPT. Like, how can you give me Mediterranean suggestions as someone from Sudan or someone from, Asian descent? And those are ways you can kind of get ideas, or Google, because I don't want you to feel, whoever's watching, I don't want you to feel like, I got to go do all this research. No, it could just be a simple Google question. So thank you so much for answering those questions. Now, my next question to you is this: what are common mistakes people make when trying to follow a weight loss diet? So we're talking Mediterranean is the one of choice. Are there, and how can they be avoided? What are most common mistakes you see? So let's talk about them so we can help our clients avoid them.
Okay. So two things I want to mention. One is that people may have heard about the keto diet, right? The keto diet is a very low carbohydrate. So the keto diet doesn't restrict calories, but it restricts the carbohydrates. So they get all the calories from fat, and it's high in protein.
Hmm.
Now, the keto diet is good in certain medical situations like children with seizures. It's very good in diabetics, but it severely restricts the carbohydrates. So while it's good for short term weight loss, which can be anything from, uh, you know, I would say about up to 3 months. It's good for short term weight loss. It does cause weight loss, and it's good in the short term. But continuing that in the long term, where we are severely restricting the carbohydrates, is not something that is healthy. And the way a keto diet is that we there tends to be a little bit of a in the acid and base balance in our body. We tend to become a little more acidic, so it affects the calcium metabolism and bone thinning and all that. So when we continue such a particular diet like this that restricts one macronutrient, we do tend to run into trouble. It's good short term, great, use it, get that initial, big weight loss, and then switch on to a more Mediterranean and more sustainable pattern. That's one. Second thing is that there is a lot of juicing and detox diets available in the market, advertisements marketed by a lot of celebrities. They are There is absolutely no scientific basis that they work, and sometimes they are a bit extreme. In fact, such extreme starvation and calorie restriction
Hmm.
can cause increased serum cortisol levels and cause the opposite effect. So those are the two things that I and also don't again to it's not possible for most people to stick to a diet that is impractical. You can't you live out of cans and bars for a long time.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
again, what I said in the beginning is choosing something that our cultural culinary preference and that's practical for us, and that includes all food groups that are important, because food is important for us. Food is how we nourish our body ourselves. So those are the pitfalls that I would watch out for.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, I can sense some hiccups, and hiccups, I call them just things that make it discouraging or seemingly hard to follow some of these advice. So, can you talk about practical tips? I have someone who's here who's saying, I'm busy. I don't know, cooking brown rice just sounds like a lot of work. Are there practical tips you would share with us today on how to incorporate a weight loss diet into a busy lifestyle?
So what the way I start with, hey, what do you eat every day? What does your meal give me like, let's take a week, or maybe not, let's take 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Tell me what your typical meals are during the day, and tell me about your life. What does your day look like? So those are the two important things I would like to know. Then I would start with looking at what you eat for breakfast and what your day morning looks like, and what small substitutions we can bring into what you eat already small, remove something or substitute with something and go from there. So changes should happen in small steps, and it should start where you are. I will not, I, it would not be practical and it would not be acceptable for me to bring in this whole recipe and or this whole plan and try try to make someone fit the plan. It is, I have to fit this plan to what this person is going through every day. So that is one. In terms of practical fast tips, I'm a big fan of one pot meals. I use an instant pot, so Instacart and instant pot. So I use an instant pot. I'm a big fan of one pot meals where I can, I use I saute, I put in my spices, the seasoning, I put in the grain, I put in the pulses, add the appropriate water. I either cook the vegetables separately or I can cook it in the same pot. I just then switch on and I leave. So from a practical aspect, I think one pot meals work very well. Uh, you know, the one pot meal should consist of the grain, the whole grain, the legume, the protein base, as well, or whatever the source of protein is, and the vegetables, and with the spices. So, not much of elaborate cooking steps or cooking process. It's just a few minutes. You just have to put it together, and it's ready.
Oh, I'm actually Googling Instapot meals. I
Instant
was
pot meal.
researching
Yeah,
like, yeah, yes. Oh my gosh. That
you
sounds,
can
it's like,
find different recipes. Yeah.
oh my goodness. So you heard it. We can find Instapot one pot meals. I love how you said that. Not even an Instapot, a one pot meal. You throw everything together in the right proportion and voila. After the timer goes off, it becomes a healthy meal that you can enjoy with less stress. All right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So my next question to you is this: let's talk physical activity. How important is physical activity when it comes to getting the best results in combination with a weight loss diet? I'll be honest with you, Doc. I've had patients come to me like, I heard exercising, you have to exercise for a whole day to actually burn off the food you just ate. So I don't know if it's worth it, So what would you say to that? How important is physical activity?
You know, weight loss is just not about diet, it's about other things. The one thing that goes hand in hand with diet is activity and exercise. I like to call it movement. Okay, because
Yes.
exercise somehow gives this whole connotation that, oh, I have to get a gym membership and go to the gym and spend 1 hour there, and it takes like 15 minutes to go, 15 minutes to come back. No, it's movement. So even as important as what we consume, it is, we have to make sure that the calories we consume are burnt and used up, and that's when there will be a balance. And that's when otherwise, when there is no movement or activity, the calories we consume, which we are consuming for a good reason, they kind of sit around and then get converted to fat. So exercise is very important. My I would say, for anything, for any new habit or start, a slow start is always the best way for it to succeed. I would start with movement, and it can be any type of movement that you like. You may, what somebody may like just walking. Some people like to jog. Some people like to dance. Okay.
Yes.
Some people like to garden vigorously in their garden, and that's a lot of activity. So, whatever physical activity that gives you happiness and pleasure, start with 15 minutes, 3 times a week, and gradually increase it. Okay. Yes, there are recommendations that, an average adult requires about 150 minutes of moderate physical activity a week to, keep a healthy metabolic rate. But if we don't have to start at 150, we start with small steps with an activity that we like, so we can keep doing it, right? So that is always the key. Energy, uh, movement also keeps our energy flowing in the body. There's also this whole belief of the energy field, right? We have an energy field in the body, and the energy has to keep flowing. And if the energy gets stuck, that's when we have our diseases and imbalances. So movement causes energy flow. It up elevates your mood. It makes you feel better about everything. Gives you, just we have more energy because we are moving. So exercise is very important. Exercise is, we have several studies that have proven this. It plays a, not only is it helpful in weight loss, but it plays a very key role in keeping the weight off long term.
Off. Mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for everything you shared so far. A lot of useful nuggets. I love how gentle you are to start slow, but just start. Start slow, but just start. And so, just any final words, Doc, before we wrap up, for someone who's watching, who's like, I've tried to lose weight before. I've tried diets before. I don't know. They feel a little discouraged. Any words to encourage them to take another try or another stab at this?
Absolutely. It's just not weight, it's just not diet and exercise, but weight loss, it has a lot of other parts too. So perhaps, paying attention to these other parts will make your plan more successful. So it's just not it's diet, it's exercise or movement. It's also looking at your sleep pattern. It's important because if you are not getting enough sleep, there's a lot of inflammation in the body, and inflammation causes weight gain and insulin resistance and diabetes and all the bad things. So paying attention to sleep is important. Paying attention to stress. Stress management is very important because the hormones that are released in our body as we experience stress and we don't do enough to counterbalance the effect of stress will also cause weight gain. So it is a multi-dimensional approach. It's just not one thing. So, paying attention to all of that, spending time in nature. In nature, it combines, your movement, activity, and spending time in nature. It gives a calming effect. It helps counter the bad effects of stress. So it is a multi-dimensional approach. So a successful approach is something where you pay attention to all of these little details so that it snowballs into a big, you know beneficial effect for you. So i- it's possible. um, it, but the steps are always small steps, small changes, one at a time, and keep at it.
That is right. And I love your hashtag. Maybe not your hashtag, but your statement on what you're passionate about. You believe that everyone has the power to take control of their health by making
Yes.
small positive changes every day. That is amazing, Doc. Um, and on that note, I'm going to ask. I know I have viewers here who's like, I love this doctor. I love how she explains things. I want to follow her. I want to maybe invite her on my platform. And if I'm in the area, I want to see her. Doc, where can people find you?
You can find me on my website. It's www.ayur, AYUR.today. And on my website, I have my social media handles there. And there's a lot of useful information on my website also. And I have my practice is in the Bay Area in Northern California. I have 3 locations here in Pleasanton, Menlo Park, and Portola Valley. So if you're in California, Northern California, if you're here, I would love to see you.
All right, awesome. And I've put your information down behind below the screen for those of you who are watching. She's all over the net. She's on the www, the World Wide Web. She's on Facebook as well. She's on LinkedIn. I'm putting all that information. And we have all of that in the comment section as well. But thank you so, so much, Doc, for coming. I really appreciate you and look forward to meeting you in person. Yay.
It's my pleasure to be here and talking to you, Dr. Tolu.
All right, awesome, awesome. Thank you all for watching. Those of you who watch live, those of you who watch replay, Mercy, thank you for joining us. Caleb, thank you for joining us as well. And on that note, if you or anyone you know is looking for an awesome, a thorough family physician in the Mansfield, Texas area, I'm she, and in the Bay Area, she. Okay, all right. Have a good one, everyone, and thank you for watching. Thanks again,
Take care.
Doc.
Thank you for watching.